Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're looking at something quite interesting. We've got these snippets describing a learning resource. It's called System Hive. And what strikes me right away is how specific they are about what knowledge you actually need. So our mission today is really a deep structural analysis. We want to figure out exactly what System Hive sees as essential for building, and this is their phrase, real practical tech skills. We're essentially mapping out their syllabus for getting useful stuff done.
Yeah. And what jumps out, especially for you, the learner, is that it's all geared towards application. Like right away, forget pure theory for a moment. They lay out four big areas: IT, networking, cybersecurity, and tech tips. These categories aren't new, maybe, but the way they're bundled suggests they're aiming at, someone who needs to do things in today's tech world, an operational generalist.
Okay, right. Let's unpack that phrase they use. Real practical tech skills. When a resource leans on language like that, they're setting a high bar for utility, aren't they? It's signaling a move beyond just knowing facts, towards actually being able to say, troubleshoot, deploy something, or defend a system, operational capability.
Exactly. And to see who it's for, we need to look at their audience description. They say it's for both ends of the spectrum. Quote, a beginner learning the basics and an advanced user looking to sharpen your skills.
Okay. That immediately makes me wonder, though, if you're trying to teach someone who maybe barely knows what an IP address is, while also providing value to someone already, I don't know, scripting cloud setups, isn't there a huge risk? Like it becomes too basic for the expert or way too fast for the beginner.
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Structurally, that's tough. The source hints the solution is about efficiency, clear pathways, easy entry points, trying to minimize that feeling of being overwhelmed. So for the newcomer, it's maybe a guided tour through the fundamentals. For the experienced person, maybe it's more like a quick reference or an update channel. You dip in for specifics, maybe just the security stuff or the trends. But yeah, you're right. Its success really hangs on how well it segments that knowledge. Needs depth.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's circle back to those four big domains they mentioned: IT, networking, cybersecurity, technology tips. If this is a foundation for practical skill, how does IT itself fit in? Especially when networking and cybersecurity seem so specific.
Right. I think IT here has to be the hands-on groundwork. We're talking basic hardware, getting operating systems running, and crucially, that first level of troubleshooting. Figuring out why a machine won't even boot or why some local script keeps failing. If you can't do that, then knowing advanced networking or security doesn't help much, does it? Practical IT probably means command line basics, maybe some simple scripting for automations, think PowerShell, bash managing local resources, VMs, that kind of thing.
Gotcha. So that sets the baseline, the layer you need before you even worry about connecting things or defending them. Okay, so we have these four pillars: IT fundamentals, network architecture, cyber defense, and tech foresight. But then the source material breaks the learning part down into three specific pathways. This is where their curriculum design seems to get really interesting.
That's right. It's like they take those four concepts and channel them into three action-oriented streams: understanding networks, system security, and keeping up with tools and trends. These three seem designed to make sure the knowledge is always pointing towards being useful, towards application.
Right, let's get specific then. First pathway, built mostly around that networking pillar. We'll explore how networks work. Sounds fundamental, but for a practical resource, this has got to be more than just defining the OSI model, surely.
Oh, absolutely. For a practical curriculum now, how networks work needs to tackle complexity head-on. It means understanding subnetting, not just as a concept, but how it applies in, say, cloud VPCs or virtual networks. It means getting routing, VLANs, VPNs, how to actually implement them. A truly practical take would likely touch on things like software-defined networking, maybe container networking, how to secure connections between different cloud platforms. If you can't set up a secure remote link for a company, well, the theory isn't very practical, is it?
Okay, that makes sense. Once you understand how the network is built and how data flows, the next big question, maybe the most critical one, is how do you protect all that? Which brings us to pathway number 2, drawing heavily from that cybersecurity domain: how to secure systems.
The wording emphasizes doing something, being active, defensive. Yeah, and this can't just be a history lesson on old viruses. Given that mandate for practical skills, securing systems today means getting familiar with modern security thinking. We're likely talking about implementing concepts like zero trust. The whole never trust, always verify idea for every user, every device inside or outside the network. It means mastering access controls, applying least privilege. Practical security is about doing. patching strategies, basic incident response, knowing how to lock down an operating system.
Right, so it's about policy and implementation, not just knowing the threats exist. Now, the third pathway. This one feels the most dynamic. It seems to pull from both cybersecurity and those technology tips. How to stay up to date with the latest tools and trends in the tech world. This almost sounds like the curriculum's built-in use-by-date reminder.
Huh. Yeah, it's basically saying continuous learning is mandatory, no escaping it. It admits that specific skills, especially those tied to particular software or platforms, they get old, fast.
Yeah.
And if you connect this back, it implies the learning content itself needs to be constantly updated, modular. So the question becomes, what do technology tips actually cover in this practical context?
Yeah, it can't just be reading tech news headlines, can it, for it to be practical?
Right,
Probably
right.
needs to focus on things like automation, efficiency gains.
I think so too. Tools and trends likely means getting to grips with the key DevOps tools, the things that let teams manage infrastructure efficiently at scale. So understanding infrastructure as code, using tools like Ansible, Terraform, maybe Puppet, and grasping the big shifts like containerization with Docker, orchestration with Kubernetes, is less about mastering one specific tool forever and more about understanding the trend towards automation and scalability, which raises a really important point for you, the learner. Being told you have to constantly stay vigilant sounds, frankly, exhausting. What kind of mindset does that require? It's more than just being curious. It demands you get good at filtering information. You can't learn every new shiny tool that pops up. You have to figure out how to spot the genuine shifts from the temporary noise, right?
You really do. You can't just memorize stuff that might be irrelevant in 6 months. You need the mental agility to pick up new tool sets quickly. The fact they make this pathway so explicit shows they recognize that adaptability is a core practical skill today.
Okay, so let's try and synthesize this map that System Hive presents. The picture we're getting is of a resource aiming to be really comprehensive, but laser-focused on utility. Starts with the IT and networking basics, but then immediately pushes you to apply that knowledge through these three streams. Mastering modern networks, implementing active security like Zero Trust, and staying agile by tracking automation tools and what's coming next. And what could make this efficient for you as the learner is that sharp focus on usefulness. It seems designed to avoid getting bogged down in purely historical stuff or abstract theory that doesn't directly help on the job. By laying out these 4 areas and 3 application pathways, they're basically handing you a potential career roadmap. They're saying, here's what you need to know, and here's how you need to apply it to get tangible, valuable skills in today's tech landscape.
That feels very direct. A clean, focused approach. So what does this all mean for you, the listener? You've now got a pretty clear outline, based on the source material, of the domains needed for real practical tech skills. And the structure suggests it's not just learning one thing after another, it's integrated. You have to see how basic IT connects to networking and how security and new tools are constantly reshaping both.
Right. And maybe a final thought to leave you with, sort of a provocative question, really. It goes back to that tension we talked about. Given that the source puts such heavy emphasis on how to secure systems and staying current with the latest tools and trends, what happens to the long-term value of your skills if success is only defined by current practical application? What if those latest tools are completely replaced by something totally new next year? It suggests that maybe the most enduring practical skill isn't mastering today's software, but rather the deeper ability to adapt the underlying principles, the theory, even to whatever comes next. That adaptability, perhaps, is where the real deep dive for your own career planning needs to happen.